What's happening, guys? Welcome to the very first episode of CodeThat, a new series where I try to code stuff in a ridiculously short time frame. In this episode, I'm going to be building and deploying a machine learning API using FastAPI and Scikit-Learn. So what are the rules? Well, first and foremost, the time limit. You guys were super generous on the community tab and gave me 30 minutes to do this. Well, I'm gonna try to do it in 15. Second, and most importantly, I'm not allowed to look at any documentation or Stack Overflow. And no GitHub Copilot. If I do, it's a 1-minute time penalty. But the real stakes and the third rule, if I fail to make the time limit, it's going to be a $50 Amazon gift card to you guys. So a little bit of background for the guys that aren't so technical. What is an API? Well, API stands for Application Programming Interface. Think of it as the plumbing between different applications. In huge organizations, they've got a ton of different APIs that connect a bunch of stuff together. We could use this API that we're about to build to be able to integrate it into a mobile application or a web application, and this will allow those different apps to communicate and use our machine learning models. Ready to do it? Let's get to it.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, so I've got the existing machine learning model. So this is a model that's been trained inside of Scikit-Learn. So we are going to be leveraging that. So you can't open it, it's serialized, but I'll share it as well. What we do have, however, is this sample.json file. And this tells us how we should be sending the body of our request to our machine learning API. So we are going to be leveraging that. Now, the first thing that we need to do is create an environment. So I'm just going to inside of my FastAPI folder that I'm currently working in. Let's make sure you guys can see that. So let's create an environment. So Python -m-venv, and we'll just call it fastml for now. And we'll let that create. So you can see it's creating up there. And then we've got to install a bunch of stuff. So we need to install, well, let's activate our environment. So /fastml-scripts-activate. And then let's clear that. Then what we need to do is install our stuff. So I believe we need to pip install UVcorn, which is going to help us actually start our server, Gunnicorn, which we're going to need when we go and deploy to Heroku. So we're going to be deploying to Heroku as well. We need FastAPI. We need Pydantic. And Pydantic is going to be used to structure or pass through our requests and have them in an appropriate file format. We need Scikit-Learn. So I believe we can just type in sklearn. And what else are we going to need? Pandas as well to process our requests. So let's let that install. And then while that's happening, let's create a new Python file. We're just going to call it ML API. And then while those things are still installing, let's start bringing in some dependencies. So bring in, really save this as a Python file, rename. Apply. Cool. And let's just set this particular environment. Looks like we've installed successfully. So pip list, double check that. Cool. So we've got Pydantic, Scikit-Learn, SciPy, UVcorn, and Gunnicorn. Yep. Cool. And FastAPI. All right. Cool. We're looking good. So let's create a lightweight API to begin with. So bring in lightweight dependencies. So we're going to bring in FastAPI. So from FastAPI, import FastAPI. And then we need to create an instance of our app. So we'll call it app equals FastAPI. And then what do we need to do? So we need to create a decorator to tell our API what the route is going to be. So it's going to be app.get initially. We're going to change this to post later on. And then we need an asynchronous API. We're going to define our function now. So this is going to be what actually gets called when we go to this route. So effectively no explicit route. So async def, we'll call it scoring endpoint. And for now, we're not going to pass anything through to that function. It's just going to be a raw function at the moment. And then we're going to return just a dictionary. So we'll call it hello world. All right, so this is sort of the first phase. So how are we looking? That looks okay. All right, cool. Let's try starting that. So in order to start, we can type in UVcorn and then the name of our file. So in our case, it's going to be ML API, and then the name of our app, which is going to be app over here. And then we can set hot reloading equal to true. So -- reload. Cool, that looks all right. So you can see that it started up successfully. Let's open up Postman. So we know that our API is running on port 8000. So we can go localhost 8000 and hit send. All right, you can see that that's working down there. So you can see it says hello world, right? We're looking good. Can we zoom in on that so you guys can see it a bit better? Nope, okay. Whatever, we got to keep going. Okay, so that's FastAPI. What we now need is Pydantic. So we actually want to send some information, effectively this, our scoring request, to our API. So we need a way to pass that information. And this is the way that FastAPI works. So from Pydantic, import base model. And then over here, we are going to create the structure for that. So, and you can see that our server's still running. This is the beauty of setting hot reload equals to true. So class, we're just going to call it, what's it called? Scoring item. Actually, let's just call it item. And then we are going to subclass that, pass through the base model. And then here you need to structure. So this is effectively having a typed item. So we need to structure it using this. So we are going to be grabbing each one of these items or each one of these fields from our machine learning model. So in the original machine learning model, and I'll share that code as well, I've got 4 columns in there. So year at company, employee satisfaction, position, and salary. So these are the 4 different columns that we're going to be expecting inside of our Scikit-Learn model. Now, what we need to do is structure this in a format that says what types we're expecting. So years at company, we already know that's going to be a float. So we can say that this is going to be a float. And let's just comment that bit out. And then employee satisfaction, it's going to be a float over here. So we can comment that bit out. Position is going to be either manager or non-manager. So what we want that to be is a string. str. And then salary, I think salary was ordinal, which means it can be an integer. So I've got a floating point, but this can be, let's set it to int for now. So basically what we've done is we've created a structure for what our scoring requests are going to look like. So when we make a call to our API, we're going to be sending it in this particular structure. Now we need a way to actually pass that through in our endpoint. So first things first, we want to change our API method from get to post, because that's just good practice. And then what we're going to do is we're going to capture our item, and that item is going to be, well, actually, no, we should change this. So this should be, let's call it scoring item. So we're going to capture our item, which is going to be the actual request body. So we're going to send a JSON object through to our API. So we are going to send that through, and we're going to be able to work with it with the value item. Now we're going to explicitly define a type. So we want it to be the type scoring item. We can pass that there. And then rather than returning hello world, let's return back item. And what we can do, I'm just checking we're still recording. And what we can do is, let's go test this out now. So our method should be post. So if I send this, it's going to fail, because you can see down there, method not allowed. So if I change it to post and send, so right now it's saying that the fields are missing, and that's because we haven't actually passed through a body. So what we can do is go to body, go to raw, go to JSON, and then we're going to send through a request. So let's go and grab this initial request here, this JSON object, paste that in, and let's get rid, I think we can leave the comments. So now if we send this through, property name enclosed in double quotes, what are we doing? Let's just get rid of this. Set that to an integer, and beautiful. Okay, so we're returning our item. So you can see that we've successfully gone and passed the stuff that we're sending through to our API, and our API is returning those values back. Now what we actually need to do is we actually need to bring in our machine learning model, which is currently stored as a pickle file. So it's serialized using pickle. So what we need to do is import pickle. So we can do that. So we have it installed. Let's just stop our API to begin with. So pip list. We don't have pickle. Let's install it. So pip install pickle. Not find a version. What? Python-m pip install Oh no, we're gonna have to check documentation on how to install Pickle. Can we just from import Pickle? Wait, we might already have it in the environment, but we don't have it in our custom environment. I think we're gonna have to go to documentation, guys. We've only got 5 minutes left. Oh no. All right, sure. Let's just try this for now. With open. rfmodel.pickle. And we're going to read it as a binary. And then model equals pickle.load f. And then we also need pandas, so import pandas. Why was Pickle's difficult to install? Okay. All right, so then what we want to do is we want to pass our item. So we're going to create a data frame equals pd.dataframe. We're not going to make this. So we need to go item, and then we can access it as a dictionary. And then we can grab .values to grab just the values out of that dictionary. And then we need to specify columns to be able to pass through and effectively create a lightweight data frame. So columns equals items.dict.items. No, .keys. What am I saying? And then we can make a prediction. So y hat equals model.predict. And then we can pass through our data frame. And then ideally what we want to return back is y hat. Let's put it inside of a dictionary. Prediction. Y hat. Let's convert it into an integer. Should be just a single prediction. All right, let's restart our API. It should be item over here. Okay, no issues. What is it? So uvcorn. ML API and then app -- reload. Okay, no issues. Send it. Internal server error. What's happened? PD is not defined. We not imported pandas as PD. Okay. Boom. We're getting our prediction. Okay, I'm not sure what the Pickle issue was, but that is we've successfully built the API. Now what we want to do is actually go and deploy it. So in order to deploy, we've got to create a bunch of files, and we're going to deploy using Heroku. So we need a proc file, and this defines how we're actually going to start up. So we want to go web, and then so Gunnicorn -w to specify how many workers, -k to specify what we actually want to run. So it's going to be uvcorn dot what is it? .workers .uvcorn worker, and then we need to run ml API app. So that's our proc file defined. Then we need to freeze our dependencies. I'm concerned with the Pickle thing. That might cause some issues. Pip freeze requirements.txt. Right, so that's now there. Cool. And then we need a runtime. So this is just going to tell Heroku what type of runtime we want to use. So we can type in Python -- version to get that. So it's going to be Python 3.9.7, Python - 3.9.7, and then we also need a Git Ignore file. And we just want to ignore __ py cache, CACHE, and FastML. We don't want to take in our environment. Cool, so that's now ignored. We also don't want, we do want the model to go up. We don't want sample.json to go up. Okay, so now we can create, we'll want to commit that. So issues there. All right, so we're going to create a new Git repository. So git init, git add all, git commit -m, initial commit. And then we need to log into Heroku. So Heroku login. This might take a little while. Oh no, we've got a minute left. So we need to log in. Cool, we're logged in. And then, what is it? So Heroku create. Cool, so that's gonna create our API. And then we want git push Heroku master. Fingers crossed this works. All right, I'm gonna pause the timer. All right, so we're uploading right now. It's building the source. But we can't really do anything else. So I'm gonna let this run and then so right now what's happening is we're actually uploading our API. Like we can't really do very much right now. So I figured, look, I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt. We got 35 seconds left to test. If anything goes wrong, we're screwed. It's gonna be a $50 Amazon gift card. But fingers crossed we can get this deployed in time. I'm a little bit concerned that I couldn't install Pickle using pip install Pickle. I don't know, I'm gonna have to dig into that. So right now it's like compressing. You can see things are happening. Got 35 seconds left. Whew, lordy. But it was at least running, so that's a good sign. Okay, so right now it's actually uploading. So this is running a build. So over here, you can see that we've got this link over here. That is the link which is going to allow us to test out the deployed model. Hopefully Pickle's just like installed. I'm gonna have to go check that out after the fact, but whew, that was intense. Okay. It is deployed. I'm a little nervous. All right, timer's on, let's go. So we've got to test it out. So we can copy this and fingers crossed, we should be able to plug this into here. Detail not found. No. That is our app. Method not allowed. All right, so that's using a GET request. We can check our logs, Heroku logs -- tail. Wait, method not allowed. Ah, no. So close. All right, we're clearly gone over. So let's quickly debug. So, all right, so we got to a post function. All right, so that's clearly going to be an Amazon gift card. Here you go, guys. We got close, but so close. Did I have spaces? I had spaces. There you go. It was actually working. Okay, so I had spaces at the end. I'm gonna give you guys benefit of the doubt. I'll give away the gift card, but that is it actually deployed. So you can see we've successfully gone and deployed it to this link over here, which is exactly the link which was from over here. So it's successfully deployed. And you can see that we've made that prediction. So if we actually go and change these values, so if I change this to 15 years at the company, we're getting a different prediction now. So 0 means the employee hasn't churned. So this is a churn model. So we can change our employee satisfaction value. So I can set that to 2. We can change the position, set that to manager. And you can see we're actually capturing those different predictions. So salary is an ordinal value between 1 to 5. You can see we're making predictions. So if we go and drop the years at the company to 1, you can see that this is saying that's going to churn in that particular case. All right, not quite 15 minutes, but we got super close. Anyway, the Amazon gift card's there. First one to get it gets it. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the first episode of CodeThat. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this brand new series. If you want to see some more coding challenges, or if you want to see the CodeThat series continued, drop a comment below and let me know what challenges you think I should be giving a crack. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Peace.